while writing her, I just kept thinking to myself, who could possibly play this role? Because on one end, she's an artist, she's an actor. On the other end, she's also reeling from a breakup and is experiencing those personal emotions and trying to figure out how does she move on with her life at the same time balancing those rejections at auditions. And she's someone that I feel like has a piece of all of us, in the sense that she's someone who socially sometimes restrains how she truly feels, but at the same time does desire connection in other people. And Genyne does such a beautiful job with like displaying that character and being her. And truly, when we met Genyne and when we had the auditions for Drea, I was like, oh, this is
Yeah.
truly possible for someone to play this role.
It was, I don't know if you remember, Janine, but the first time we met you, you said that this is me. Like this, the character was you. And it was so interesting to talk with you and talk with Kendra and for us to collaborate on the understanding the themes of attach, understanding how sometimes it's hard to want something so badly and it not being able you not being able to have it when you want it, and how sometimes you can fall back into like old habits. And you've done such a great job at embodying the character. So I want to know for you, what does Drea mean to you as a person being able to play her?
Well, I just feel like Drea, I lived the life of her, just having to the struggle with bills, struggle with relationships, trying to pursue your acting, and this really hits home for me because it's kind of like for me, just like it was just very easy to get into that role since I like live it every day. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also like important for us too, because we're also in our 20s.
Yeah.
And Drea is around that age where sometimes when you're like watching TV shows and movies about people that are the same age as you, sometimes it feels like there's a disconnect in like their experiences. And for us, like, in the series of rewrites that we had with the script and the story, we really like tried to incorporate moments that felt personal to us. And that's why in the script and in the story, you see a lot of moments of just silence where Drea is in her apartment. Drea is looking into the mirror in her bathroom and looking at herself and looking at her own reflection. And those silent moments throughout the story were very important for us to incorporate, because who is this person? Who is this character outside of other people?
Things aren't necessarily the best all the time, but through community, as we've written with the character of Naya, through friendship, through being able to see the positive side of life, you can take a step towards, really making an effort to, being a better you and getting out of your own way. Was there anything personal in the script to you that came up for you while you were writing it, while we were writing together?
I think for me, because there's a particular scene in the short film that we didn't always have there.
Yeah.
It's the scene where Drea goes to an audition and she's asked to audition for a role, and then afterwards the talent managers and casting directors are very dismissive of her, and they basically they're very short with her and they kind of cut off the performance. And for me, that's sort of a connection, because even though I'm not an actor, I do work in the industry, and I've definitely seen how navigating and maneuvering in the industry is a very different world from our own, where in our own like personal life we can be relatable to people, we can show all sides of ourselves. And then I just feel like in that moment, in the audition and then being in the industry, you kind of have to only show like a certain side of yourself. and you also have to protect your emotions in not having to take everything personal, especially as a filmmaker applying to multiple programs and trying to have that opportunity to finally have your work shine. You definitely have to detach yourself from rejection, and then also the feeling of, okay, does anyone believe in me? Does anyone want to hear me? And I feel like Drea is just trying to be heard in that scene, and I can definitely relate to being around people and not feeling like you're heard because of your position or standing where you work. What's a relatable moment for you?
A lot of, and we had this stuff at the beginning, was a lot of the isolation elements, the Naya coming over and seeing Drea hasn't left the house in a while. College really for me was a darker time, where that sort of isolation crept in. So when we were writing it, I saw myself in ways that I would look up some days and I haven't left the house in like a week. And it was people that was close to me, it was loved ones that was able to bring me out of that. So I think what I would hope for the film is that anybody that's in that sort of state to know that like life outside is not over, that you still have to, like, you still have the ability to just walk through the door and you know, live your life, and you're not by yourself in the world, but people are there for you.
Yeah, like your success doesn't determine like your career.
Yeah.
It's like all within, and I think that's something that this film represents.
Yeah.
Were there any scenes in particular that you felt like stuck out for you, especially as an actress, and Drea also being an actress?
Definitely the relationship with her and Devon. Like I can definitely relate to that as far as like with friendships, like more so, you know, you just replaced the guy with the friendships, and I had people who were close to me that said disparaging things to me, like maybe you should just like give this up, or maybe you should stick to your day job, or just saying these things to me. So I think that I can relate to all the naysayers and still trying to like pursue, even though the you feel like the odds are against you.
Definitely.
Yeah. The film is, in a lot of ways, exactly what I want to put out into the world, is like Black creatives doing things that aren't really seen. Like we're making a horror film that's also a coming of age film, that's also a character study. All three types of stories that Black creators don't really get to see, that we don't usually get to embody. So I hope through Attach that those things can become more acceptable, that people can see Black creators as or see Black stories as not just, you know, action pieces or comedies, but we can talk about, you know, real relatable stories, but also do, you know, cool genre things that we don't often get to play.
Yeah. Another thing that Genyne said earlier that really stuck out was that Attached is a coming of age film, but for people our age.
Yeah.
And I feel like we also rarely get coming of age films as Black women and as Black people, seeing how even in your mid-20s, there are experiences that still happen to us that shape us for the rest of our lives, and how we're still trying to navigate, you know, not being afraid to be and show ourselves as being awkward. Some of us also having those moments of silence. I feel like we rarely get to see, like on camera, us having those moments of reflection and just letting the camera sit and truly look at us and see us. And I feel like it's so powerful to see that in this film.
As a actress, as a black actress,
Yeah.
like what does playing a role like Drea mean to you in terms of like doing something that maybe you don't see often?
Wow, I just think it's such a surreal moment to like really explore that side of me. That side that I on a daily constraint, you know, I just keep within, and just having those moments where you want to be free and, you know, put blood all over the walls and just let go is something that felt in a weird way fulfilling, just like not caring anymore. And it's I don't know, it just feels like a let go release for me.
And I feel like the genre that we rarely see ourselves in, like
It's
that
horror.
psychological
Yeah.
horror genre, is the perfect genre to like show those like powerful and intense moments and to just let go. I feel like with each revision that we had, we slowly started to have Drea let go even more and more.
Yeah.
Because I feel like early on she was just so restrained that at a certain point we were just like, let's just fully go for it. Let's just fully go for the blood. Let's just fully go for the psychological thriller genre, because it's something that we both love, but we truly haven't seen a black woman embody this type of role. And we truly want to create stories that we want to see and we feel like are missing.